I get a lot of questions from players about how to go about reviewing their own replays. Honestly, I don't think it's always the most efficient way to learn about the game. The reason I'm able to say so much to players I coach is that I'm both very experienced with the game and very experienced with common mistakes players make. So I'm able to parse out those mistakes and inform people about them so they can get to the root of how to fix them. With my own VODs though, it's hard to know what it is that you don't know. It's hard to come up with questions that will actually give you valuable answers when you don't know what you're doing wrong. I can help a lot of other people because I've made the same mistakes that they have before, and I can help them get up to my level there. Helping myself get up to a higher level than what I know, that can be tricky. And that's why coaching is valuable, because a coach with more experience can tell you what mistakes are causing your errors in game much more quickly than you can figure them out through trial and error and watching the same match of yours over and over again. That said, it's not a useless thing to do by any means, and I have a couple suggestions for how to make it a little bit more fruitful. Firstly, don't just see what you can see. Go into the video keeping in mind what it is you've been working on up until this point. If you haven't seen or don't remember, I have a video about a way I recommend tracking the goals you're working on in the How to Get Out of S+ video from Splatoon 2. This kind of thinking helps a lot because you can't focus on everything that's going wrong at once. People can't keep 27 different training goals in mind all the time during a single practice session. At the end of every VOD review, I try to summarize the top 3 to 5 things I want my students to work on, the things which, when improved, will get them the most progress. This way, they don't get bogged down worrying about hyper-specific interactions, and instead focus on more universally applicable lessons that will help them in a variety of situations. If you're working on reducing walk-and-shoot syndrome, then check how you're moving in combat. If you struggle with getting sharked, see if you're painting defensively enough. If your awareness has let you down before, look for moments where you missed information that would have helped you. If your objective play has been suboptimal, look to see if you made the right decisions about how to play it when the chips were down. If one of these kinds of issues ends up being a predominant reason you're losing fights or losing games, you can then jump back into the same rotation and focus on correcting that problem for the rest of the session. Use what you've set as your goals before to structure your learning now. Second, watch other top players who play your weapon to see if you can spot any differences between how they're playing and how you're playing that you can learn with. I wanted to learn about how to survive better on my 52 gal, so I went and pulled up a YouTube match of DNA playing against Destiny Bond, since I know Synapse from DNA is a prominent 52 gal player. In one of the matches, DNA ended up having double 52, and Destiny Bond also had a 52 on their side. The match was from the perspective of somebody else, but I could still look around and see where they were positioning, how they were playing around their walls, when they were using specials, that sort of thing. For example, from what I saw, the players were being pretty conservative playing around their walls most of the time, putting them out more as a deterrent for the other team than as an aggressive option for them to use. They kept a lot more paint around them than I do sometimes, and were more quick to back up into that paint when they got pushed. That made me decide to go back into the rotation, thinking more about keeping myself alive and being willing to back up when my team wasn't with me. Third, watch from a different perspective. Watching from yours once is always good for catching awareness issues, but it can also help to watch an overhead view. Then you can see where that flank you missed came from, or when you isolated yourself from your teammates without realizing it. Another great idea, if you were struggling with a certain player, is to watch from their perspective. Sometimes when I do this, I'll realize I'm falling into movement patterns that I myself know how to punish when I see an opponent doing them, and I learn that I need to mix it up, be more stealthy, or just be more careful. Hopefully that's given you at least a couple of ideas to work with. If you need more specific advice, I, as always, have a line for my Tuesday streams and a Medify account, so you can get my eye on your games and see what I can suggest for you to work on. There are also players in the Squid School Discord server with the guest lecturer role, whose expertise I trust in their area of the game, who might be willing to help if you reach out. Remember to go into every practice session mindfully, instead of just grinding games without a goal in mind, and take breaks when you're tilting. Good luck reaching whatever goal you're interested in working toward.